So welcome to video 2 in the tutorial series. I'm just going to go through a simple song construction and how I create a song. You can use pretty much anything that you're comfortable with or that you already have installed on your computer if you're already recording and getting tones or getting your guitar into a DAW. For those that aren't, I'm using Studio One. There's a free version of that you can use. You will have to get your guitar tone into the program somehow, so you can do that through a mixer. I guess you could plug it into a mic input on a computer. Probably won't sound the best, but there's some decently priced audio interfaces that you can get, such as Presonus has one. I know there's a couple other brands, and you can get them from anywhere from like $50 to $100, all the way up to thousands and thousands of dollars. So but for this session, we're just going to go through a basic a basic song setup, and we'll go through how I've been creating the songs that I have posted, so you can just use this as a reference for yourself. So let's get started. Alright, so here's Studio One. I'm just going to create a new project. I do have a template laid out that already has the inputs configured, so we're just going to use that. Alright, it's at 140 on the tempo. It's just a 4/4 beat. And you'll see at the top it has like a basic song construction, so we're just going to use that template. The intro will probably just leave the same as the verse, just to save some time. So what we're going to do is track just some random chord progressions for the verse. I say we probably just reuse the chords in a different order for the chorus and the bridge. All right, so let's get started with that. All right, something easy like that. Let me go ahead and arm these. And the way I have this set up is recording the Kemper, the stack on channel 5, and then stereo 3 and 4 on channel 3 and 4. So the main left and right outputs are the stereo, and then there's another output back here that's coming in as channel 5. I think it's like the direct out or something. All right, so that's the reason I'm recording two different channels here. One's for the effects, so I can blend them separately. All right. So I did switch that up a little bit, just to add a little variation. All right, and it kind of felt like our pre-chorus should be coming in there, so that worked out pretty well. All right, let's do that. Let's try that again. It wasn't. Yeah, I like the half step there. So we'll just switch the chords up there. Now, we already recorded the verse, we already recorded the pre, so the only thing we got left is the bridge, and then we can copy everything else over. I'm not going to worry about the intro for this, I don't want it to be too long. So I'm just using that whole minor scale in B and F sharp. Alright, so I'm just going from the E to the F sharp for the bridge. Alright, so that sounds kind of cool. And that's it. So I'm going to copy those over, and then we'll start working on the other guitar part. All right, so we got to start putting the other guitar part in. I got the Les Paul out for this one, and I switched over to the Mark Tremonti, to the Mark Tremonti profile. So we just got to start tracking the other side. So I'm going to arm the tracks on the other side. I'm going to turn some reverb on, so I have whatever's configured on this profile. Don't have to use it, but if I don't have it, then I can't use it, right? So I'm just adding it in. So let's figure out what our first part was again. That's right, so we did it two different ways, right? Didn't really think about that, just kind of try to throw something in there. Let's see what it sounds like. Yeah, whatever. I'll let it go. Just for sake of time. So that gives us the verse and the pre, and then the chorus. Just got to get that little change in there. And start on the right chord would help. Alright, that should do it. Just have to copy that out. So again, we're just right back to the bridge. So now it's just copying that over and going to the bass part. So we'll do that next. All right, so for the bass profile, or for the bass, I'm using the Epiphone Thunderbird. And from Lancaster Audio, I'm using Lemmy's, from Motorhead, Lemmy's bass. This is the Marshall profile. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and track in these bass parts as well, and then I'll copy them over at the same time. So just need the bridge. Okay, so now it's just filling that out. We'll have to throw a lead in there and some drums. But let's go ahead and work on the drums next. All right, so let's work on a simple drum beat for this. I'm just gonna do a quick drum beat and maybe throw in a rod or something on the chorus. There's a couple different ways you can do this. You can use loops. I mean, you can purchase loops and do it. I'm just gonna do it by hand to show you how those work. And there's a humanized feature in Studio One that kind of helps keep it from sounding too robotic as well. So I'm just going to crank the volume up on these because they're usually pretty low. Oh, that didn't sound low. So there's our kick. I'm just going to solo this for a second. All right, just something easy like that. And then we'll change that over to like a rod in the chorus part. So just copying that, pasting it here. See how that sounds. So they had a slightly different beat to it. All right, I'm just going to copy that over. Back to the verse part. Kept that up through the chorus. Put the chorus part back in. See, I have faith that this is going to sound good. Anything from Slate sounds good. Bridge. Might be able to do something different there. All right, let's listen to what the verse sounds like with drums added to it. so we'll throw some little triplets in here. That's what I'm thinking. Alright, good enough for a tutorial. Let's throw the lead in and we'll call it a day. Alright, so the only thing I did was plug the guitar in. I haven't practiced this at all, so we'll see what happens, but we'll just go with it. So let me arm this track. And let's just let it roll. Anyway, just standard pentatonics. I was trying to move around a little bit there, but again, no practice, no idea, just trying to demonstrate how the songs get put together. So all I'm going to do is mix this up and try to get the levels set correctly, and then I'll add the song to the end of this video and you can listen to it. All right, later. Okay, so quickly I just wanted to show you what plugins I used on the mixdown before we get to the end of the video and I post the actual song from here. So I just added in a click track on the drums as well. Let me turn this down, I don't want to blast you. Actually, I need to send that out to a different output. 1 second. Okay, so the only thing I did was, as I usually use the virtual tape machine from Slate on every track, it just adds like a harmonic, I don't know, it makes the different channels blend together better for some reason. I think it adds some harmonic distortion or something there. And then I'm just using the virtual mix rack. And this is just a simple setup. I'm not even using like the EQ. The stressor is set to just a default setting. Not using the revival at all. So really all I'm doing is just setting the the virtual channel to like a Neve type channel strip. So I have this set to the British N and the drive set at 12 o'clock, and I have everything grouped to number 1. And this is on the same setup as on every channel. All right, and you see I've got a high pass set to around 50 hertz and a low pass set to 14.2. So I'm just kind of cutting off the rumble and the shrill high end from every channel. Okay, so that same setup is on every single channel. Including the bass and drums. Okay, and then for the master, I have the tape again. Another virtual mix rack, which has the virtual mix bus set to the same group and pretty much the same settings. Have an EQ. I'm not even sure if I boosted anything. I think I cut, like 1 dB around 360, and I boosted 1 dB around 60 hertz. So it's right around, we cut off around 50, so I'm just giving it a little bit of a boost there. And then I have the bomber set to just the mix bus 3D, and I'm using the FG76 as just to collar the track a little bit. All right, and then after that I have Ozone 8 pulled in, and I ran reference against Wasting My Time, so it's like a default song. I think they have a really good mix, so I use them as a reference a lot. So then from there, I just adjust the EQ a little bit. I added in dynamics set to the modern dynamics, which is just a preset. I left the dynamic EQ the same, maximizer the same. I added the vintage limiter at the end with just the analog glue. All right, and then at the very end of that chain, I usually bring in this plug-in sugar, and I just again add the low and high pass filters, and then some saturation. So usually I run the saturation up till I hear total distortion, and then cut it in half. So the distortion level was up around 45 to 50 when it really got noticeably distorted. So I ran that down to around 20 or a little less. I don't want it to be over distorted, but it does help. I don't know, it just kind of helps blend things together and keep the dynamics at bay, or kind of controlled, I should say. And then as a post effect, I usually run a limiter right at 0, and then I push the volume up to 0 and just barely touch the limiter, and I'm done. So that's everything that I do to the track, and just kind of set the levels where everything's equal to the most part. Everything I do is pretty basic, so I'm not doing anything complex. But anyway, I just wanted to share what it was I did to the track after we recorded all the parts and got the drums in there. All right, so thanks for watching.